week 1 video. Before we get started, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna warm up today. So you're gonna take a sheet of paper and we're gonna fold the top down to the bottom. It's easier if you do this on a flat surface. Then we're gonna turn it over and we're gonna fold the top down to the bottom again. Now this isn't perfect, it's okay. This is just for warm up. So when we open it up, now we've got these smaller rectangles for us to use to warm up before we get started on our final project. So it's gonna kind of look something like this. We're gonna have little drawings inside each of these. So you have a front and you've got a back to this. Now for our week 1 video, this is the only week that I'm gonna do a warm-up exercise, so feel free to use this in the weeks that follow. For today, you're gonna need paper. You're gonna need some kind of black writing utensil. So that could be a pen, a Sharpie, a black crayon, and then you're going to need some crayons, or you could use color pencils. Today, the colors you're gonna need are brown and blue. You can get all the shades of blue that you have, and if you've got a few shades of brown, you can use that as well. So, grab your materials and let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna warm up using our oils. So first, let's just write. All right, let's get started with our oils this week. So first, let's just write out the word oils in one of these rectangles. So we're gonna do a circle. So that's gonna be our O for oils. A straight line, dot. We're going to do a uppercase L. This is going to be our angled line. And then S for curved. So we have circle, line, dot, angled lines, and curved lines. Using these shapes here and lines, we can draw almost anything. So let's just warm up here in some of these rectangles. You can keep using your marker, you can use crayon. Let's draw a mouse to begin with. So first we're going to do a little triangle, like so, and I'm just gonna color it in. So straight line, straight line, straight line, and we filled it in. Then we're going to do a curved line connecting those and fill that in like so. Then we're going to do his squiggly tail. So there's another curved line. You can do that however you'd like. And then we've got to give him his little feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and his little ears, like so. All right? And then he's got to be able to see. So let's give him a little eye. There we go. And there's our little mouse. We could give him some ground to walk on. Or maybe we could do another one and he is climbing over a rock. So there's my rock. Now you can fast forward to this and get to the lesson if you want to. We're just warming up a little bit. So we're going to do our triangle like so. You can fill that in. We're gonna do that curved line, fill that in. You can give him his tail, his little feet. Since he's climbing up, I'm gonna kind of scoot him back like this, like he's jumping. And we've got his little ears. And then we can give him his eye. And maybe some, oh, he's jumping over the rock. Okay? So, simple lines can create many different things. Let's do, let's do a flower. So, let's do the letter W. So we've got those angled lines there. Then we're going to swoop down and connect the ends of the W like so. And then we're going to do a straight line down. So this is a tulip. And then we can go to another straight line with a curve. Another straight line with a curve. And then you can color that in. We're just warming up, so don't feel like you've got to get all the details in there. Then let's do another one, and I'll share where I got this inspiration later. I'll tag it on there, but we're going to do a Ferris wheel. So first we're going to start with a circle. And yours may not look exactly like mine, and that's okay. Now we're going to divide it into eighths. So first we've got half and quarter. See, art and math go together. All right, so now we've got 8 sections to our Ferris wheel. And then at the end of these, we're going to do our circles. So there's like our buckets where you can go for a ride. You can do this with pencil, colored pencil, it doesn't matter. All right, then we can put little lines in there. Like so, and then let's give it a base. So taking these oils, circle, line, dot, angled line, curved line, we can draw anything. And so we're gonna be drawing a ship. All right, let's get started drawing the Mayflower. So I'm gonna use a permanent marker. I'm gonna use a fine point and an ultra fine point. But you could use a pen, a black crayon, use what you have. All right, because I'm using a permanent marker, I've got that, this is printer paper, so I've got a sheet underneath here to protect my table. So the first thing we're gonna do is draw a water line. We're gonna use our hand like a ruler to kind of help measure and plan out to make sure we've got enough room for our Mayflower. So I'm gonna use 2 fingers to create where my top of my water is gonna go, and I'm gonna go all the way across. If you wanna put a line or dot there and then come over and measure to make sure that you're ending up about the same place, you can do that. So this is gonna be the water, so it's gonna be wavy. It does not need to be perfectly straight. Okay, now we're going to draw the base of the ship. So first, let's come over here and let's take another 2 fingers and we're going to draw a dot right here and then come to the back and at about the same height. Let's see, this one, I did like 1 finger. Your hands are gonna be different sizes, it's okay. And it's about at the top of my finger there. So when I come over here, I'm actually gonna use my middle finger and do the point there, but about 2 in. So 2 fingers at that height right there. So my back's gonna be higher than my front, just a little bit, okay? So first, let's connect these 2 lines together. So we're just gonna kind of curve up, like so. We're gonna curve this point down to the water. And now here with the front, we're gonna do a really short, straight line down like that. We're gonna come in just a little bit, kind of going parallel with this line. There's so much math and art as well. So listen up for that as we continue to draw. So now we've kind of created like a little rectangle right here, and then we're going to just kind of curve it down here to the water. Great. Next, we're going to add an additional deck here on the right side. So let's use those fingers as a point of measurement again. And My bottom deck's about 3, so I'm gonna come up about 3. It's gonna kind of line up with the back of the ship here. And remember, at any point, if you need to pause, do that. Okay, so we've got that. So we're gonna connect these 2 lines down here. And now we're not gonna go to the center of our paper. We're gonna stay a little bit to the right. So I'm gonna use the palm of my hand, and I've got my point here, and this point's going to be lower, and I'm going to put the dot about right there. So about 4 finger widths. And we're gonna connect these 2. And then we're gonna connect this down to the lower deck. So now I have our lower deck and our additional deck here, upper deck. All right, we're gonna draw 4 masts here on the Mayflower, which basically are gonna be really skinny rectangles going up. So let's start here in the middle, and we're gonna draw this one. This is going to be our highest one, and then all of our other ones are gonna be lower than that. So here's kind of the middle. I wanna make sure to leave enough room at the top if I wanna draw a flag or something. So I'm gonna come down 2 fingers about to the middle and put a dot. And then I'm going to connect, and I can come right next to it, do another little dot, and then I'm gonna connect these all the way down. I'm not using a ruler, I'm just doing it free-handed, so it does not have to be perfect. Now, one tip is if you need to turn your paper because it's easier to draw that line across, then do that. We'll try that on the next mast. All right, so we're gonna have our mast here on the upper deck. It's going to be lower than this. So I'm gonna come to the middle of here, and this does not have to be perfect. We are practicing. We can do this over and over and get our ships looking stronger. All right, 2 little dots there, about the same distance apart as that, but I didn't measure. And then I'm just going to go straight down. Oh, here's where we can turn it over to the side. It's kind of easier to draw it like that. Okay, and then let's do 2 more. We're gonna do another one here on the front, about here in the middle, lower than our top one here. All right, so we're going to do 1, 2. Now this one, for the printout that I have that I'm going to attach on there, this one's a little bit at an angle. So you can decide how much of an angle to do. Can I kind of turn my paper and do 1 and 2, like so. And then we're gonna do 1 more short mast here at the front. 2 dots at the top. And this one's gonna almost be lined up with the front of our ship. 2 dots. Again, you can turn it or you could keep it straight. And we're going to kind of keep this same angle. Like so. So now we have the 4 masts of our ship. Let's top those off. Close them up with little lines. And now we're going to draw the yards that are crossing each one. So we're gonna do basically a skinny rectangle going through all of these that are gonna hold the sail on there. So did you see that? I did a line. Now if I got out a ruler and measured, this side looks a little bit longer, but I'm not doing that. We're just gonna do this freehand. And so don't get caught up if it's not perfect. So I'm gonna go through and do that for all of my masks. I'm gonna speed that up. Okay, here we have the yards that are crossing each one of those. All of them have 2 except this back one. And they're kind of perpendicular to each other. See how this is at an angle and this is at an angle. There are those math terms popping up again. Okay, so now we're going to draw some curved lines for the sails. So first, let's start with the main sail here. So we're gonna connect these points to get from here to here. We're gonna put a little curve in it to show that there's wind coming. Curve and curve. And let's come down to the bottom and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna actually connect it to the ship. Curve. And this one, since we're so close right here, let's just connect it to this upper deck. Curve. Okay? So we're gonna go through and do the curves for all of these. This one's gonna be a little bit different here in the back. So let's go ahead and do that one first. We're gonna connect where the cross bars are, and we're gonna connect them to this back point here. So like so, and coming through here like so, okay? Same thing that we did here, we're going to do for these two. This one's just going to connect to this sail here, kind of like it's behind it. And then this one, we're just gonna do one. So they're all curving the same way. Now that we're finished with these curved lines, we're going to kind of like attach them to the ship. So this one is complete. We're going to do this bottom arch here so we can see where this sail ends, okay? So arching like this, arching like this. And once we color it, you'll kind of see it. See, there's one part of the sail. Here would be like the blue sky behind it, and then another part of the sail. We're gonna do the curve here for these two. And here. I'm gonna connect through here. So I'm gonna connect like this. Just okay. Now that we're finished with the curved lines, we're also going to kind of attach them with some, not string, I'm sure they're like rope to the ship. So here we go. We're gonna connect these two. Then we're gonna connect this main mast to here, to this back one. And then this one, we're gonna connect it to this front here. I'm gonna jump behind the sails. So I'm gonna make it look like it's in the background. So I'm gonna start here. This is the line that I'm doing right here. Okay, so jump over the sail and connect it there, okay? Now we're going to add some windows on there. So these are kind of like the little portholes. We're gonna do some dots. So there's our circle, but then when we color it in, it's our dot. You get to decide how many you put on there. So we've got some round portholes. We could do a rectangle back here. It's got a little curve to it. I'm gonna fill that in. We could do some other windows down here. Okay, to add a little bit more detail, you may not have time if you're doing this in class, but you could take a pen or a ultra fine point Sharpie and we could make it look like that there's boards here on the ship. So you're just going horizontal all the way up the ship. So I'll speed this up. I'm sure you got this. All right, so there's our boards for the ship. One last thing before we color it, the artist has to remember to sign their artwork. So I'm just gonna use a pen. I don't wanna use like my big fat marker because I just want it to kind of be down here, but I don't want it to be too big. So sign your name. You could put the year that you did it in. So for coloring it, I'm just going to use some crayons. I've got different shades of blue here, and I've got some browns. You could also come and color in your sails white if you wanted to, because then you could go back and if you had used cardstock, you could do like a blue sky on here with like watercolor. You could take this to a different level, but this is a great place to start. So let's get coloring. Now with the blue, I'm just going to do lines across. I'm not going to do a solid coloring here. And then that way you can see a little bit of the white through. And it's kind of like when the light is reflecting off of the water and you see these different shades of blues. So here we go. Now, if you wanted to take this project a step further and do this at home and work on your ship some more, go in and color your sails white with a white crayon. You're not going to be able to see it that much since you're coloring on a white paper. Then you could do a watercolor wash, which means it's a really watered down blue. And then you paint it on top of your ship. And you can see that the white kind of resists it. So you can see where I've colored white here. So it's just a different option to take this project a step further when you have more time. So there we have it, the Mayflower. You can also add little flags to it if you want. So check the link in the bottom of this video for the step-by-step guide. It's a free resource from artprojectforkids.org. These are a few of the resources that I use to draw those simple warm-up exercises. First, we have How to Draw Almost Every Day by Komo. She is a Japanese illustrator and has very fun and simple drawings using those oils like we used at the beginning of our lesson. She also has another one called How to Draw Almost Every Animal. So great resource. Then we have Ed Emberley. This one is Make a World. He's got a drawing book of animals. But again, step by step, using those basic shapes and lines and creating animals, people, castles, ships, roller coasters. So these are great resources that you could use independently and create incredible art. So have fun.